Hello everyone, Rimea here, and welcome to my playthrough of the Evolution level contest out of place, like level collection pack mod thing for Nisroshu. So this is a collection of levels that were made for a level contest on the Evolution Discord server, which I am no longer on, or like the owner of, or whatever. But I was still like vaguely involved with this whole thing. I was a judge for the project. This looks interesting. So I figured, it might be interesting for me to just play through this, and I've already seen all of these levels, of course, because I judged them for the contest. But to play through the levels and kind of talk about their design and tell you guys what I thought of them more specifically than just like grading them. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Interesting UI thing here where you only have the one flag and like stuff. I actually did that for like some other project that never got made like a year ago or something, ended up being put into this project. It's funny how that works out. And yeah, with this custom cutscene. I mean, of course, this isn't really like a mod like with like a cohesive narrative or anything. It's not like, it's a level pack basically. Though it does still have the overarching theme of Out of Place, which was the theme for the level contest. So we'll be seeing how each level kind of uses that theme to its advantage, hopefully. And each of these levels were made by different people from throughout the community. Some of these people I know very well, and some of these I don't know at all. So let's get started with 1H1, or Juxtaposition Junction. I wonder who came up with that. That's interesting. Juxtaposition Junction -1 Mid-Forest Desert, which was made by Upsha, who is a person I know quite well. So this is actually, spoiler alert, the level that ended up winning the whole contest. So this is the one that me and the other judges, collectively decided was the best one. Not that everyone literally thought that this was their favorite, but like, altogether, like on average, this is the one that people liked the most. And yeah, I also will review. I guess that this is the one I judged the most favorably. I thought this one was the best. Though I will say that it was very close. There are a lot of levels I liked quite a bit, and like I also don't think there was any level that was like amazingly perfect or anything. There's things I don't like about every level and things I like about every level. So for example, one thing I don't like about this level is how those you see those like spiny things down there? Those look like decorations, right? But they actually hurt you, and I feel like they're just like they just look too dark or something to where it doesn't register in my brain that they're supposed to hurt you. So I keep like even though this is like probably the 5th time I play through this level, I keep having to tell myself while playing like, oh right, yeah, I can't get hurt, right? I mean, I can't like hit one of those because I'll get hurt. So it's really, I think that's kind of weird, honestly. But that's a kind of very minor thing, honestly. It's not a big gripe. And yeah, like I said, this was made by Upsha, and I haven't really seen any other of his levels, at least not traditional levels. He's shown some stuff to me before, which looks very like crazy and out there, but this is pretty traditional. And yeah, like I said, I mean, I quite like this level. It's of course got this kind of juxtaposition theme by way of having pokies and stuff in a forest level, and there's also like sand, and there's like these spinies with like yellow shells. That's quite cool. It's a very weird secret that that's kind of jank, honestly, because you can kind of mess that up in weird ways, and it's really difficult to pull off. But it is very unique. I've never seen anything like that before. Also, there's a little coin below this brick block because it spawns a vine. That's a nice little indication there, because it's always very frustrating when there's a vine block, but like you don't know that that's a vine block, and you like ground pound it, and then you've screwed yourself. An interesting little bonus room here as well with the spinies. I don't think the spinies are too big of a mechanic in the level as a whole, so I suppose using a like this kind of minor mechanic in the bonus room is a nice way of doing it. I can say that like the tiling in this level sometimes I'm not a huge fan. Like I don't know how I feel about those blocks being supported by semi-solids like that. It looks a little bit weird to me personally. But whatever. I do like the signs there like falling down like that. Also another weird thing I think is like this like idea of having these canopies. I suppose is what these are, these bushes here. But like if you do that, just either have that and have it look like canopies, or don't do it at all. Otherwise it feels a little bit like Mario Maker-y to me, where like it's supposed to like convey this idea of a different visual, but it's not really that visual, like it's a bit too abstract for me. But yeah, in general, it's a nice level. It has a lot of like variety in the ways it uses its mechanics, and also the way it kind of has like different mechanics still kind of executing the same idea, like having these like remodeled grolls here, but they still look like pokies, so it kind of like still matches the same tone. It's pretty cool, I think. Oh, I see. Yeah, I just jumped down there, and I completely forgot that I'm not supposed to be down there because there's a little like thing, the pokeball, I guess you could say, the pokeball. It's like a pokeball. That's funny. Yeah, I like a little secret up here as well. You know, I always enjoy just like adding little random secrets that don't even have a star coin to them, as long as they're not too elaborate, because then it feels unfair. Also, I really like the pattern for the custom tile set in this level. I mean, most of the other levels don't really have much of a custom tile set, and so I don't really think that we should judge them on that. But if you do have a custom tile set, I'd rather it looks good, and I do think that this one looks pretty good. Like the pattern in the ground is pretty unique in the way it like repeats, but still has a lot of variation and like this kind of wavy like line you can draw through the whole thing. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, I remember this like green coin section here where there's like, yeah, you get the green coins here, and then the next set is like over here. And I suppose that is indicated with that sign maybe, but it's still a little bit weird, I think. I think if you have a green coin section, you should always have the like next set of green coins on screen after you collected the previous one, because it just feels wrong otherwise. It's a bit risky having like giving the player an ice flower in a level like this, because it can break the pokies so much. You know, pokies are very vulnerable to an ice flower, just like brambles, for example. But when you think about it, also, like previously in the level, you were given an acorn suit for the first star coin. So the level really does just kind of give you the power up that it thinks like you could use for the section. Like it's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that honestly, because usually I tend to prefer it if a level has like the same power up throughout, and you make sure that that power up works with the level the whole way through. But this level kind of does it a different way, where there's different power ups for different sections, but like each of the power ups does match the sections. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't really think there's like an objective answer to whether that's a good idea or not. Also, we just got the third star coin there. It's interesting how that layer 0 there, like the tiles in front of the player, don't have the little... Oh, you can even jump through that. That's weird. Wait, so does that mean you can get the star coin? I don't know. That might be some tile godding there to make sure that that can't happen if you just go through from the bottom. Oh yeah, each level also has a 500-second time limit, because that was mandatory because we didn't want the levels to go on for too long. So that's why we're kind of running out of time here. But I can't really blame the level for that, because I'm just rambling on and playing very slowly. This is a school here where all of the mechanics are kind of combined. A pretty classic thing to do towards the end of a level. Can I... Oh yeah, sure, there we go. And ow. Alright, we're not actually at the end of the level yet. Let's make sure we actually don't, like, you know, die or, like, run out of time here. That would be a bit of a shame. I think here we are. Yeah, oh, great. Yeah, once again, that was the level by Oopsha, and that was actually the level that ended up winning the contest. But don't leave just yet. There are 7 other levels that we're going to be playing that are also, you know, pretty good, most of them at least. And I think they're worth checking out. Alright, so next up is Bumbling Bramble Basin, which was created by Baron, and it's a lot of bees right there. This level does not feature any bees itself. It actually is like most of this like lava level. But of course, the juxtaposition twist is that there's brambles in this lava level, which yeah, I suppose is kind of a bit of a juxtaposition. I suppose, I don't know. I feel like a large part of why I might have judged some levels, like, you know, I might have not liked some levels as much as others, because I feel like some of the implementations of the whole like out of place theme was a little bit lazy, or like an afterthought, because I feel like just putting brambles in a lava level is like, I feel like that's something that like New Super Luigi U would do, you know. That's not even that's not crazy enough for me, I don't think. So I feel like, yeah, because like, I don't know, brambles are not even that much of a forest enemy. They are technically, but there's nothing about their design that really, I think, necessitates them being used in a forest, or like not being used in a lava level. So in the end, it just kind of feels like this is just a normal bramble level. And as far as bramble levels goes, it's fine. It has, you know, some like also some put-a-boo sections here, and just like whole moving pipe thing in the lava, which, I mean, I've seen that done before. I think I also did it in Cloud 2. But yeah, just as a whole, it just kind of ends up feeling a little bit too vanilla for me, this level. But as far as the level itself goes, like apart from the whole juxtaposition theme, I do think it's pretty good. It does have some nice ideas here and there, like for example, putting a 10 coin block, I believe, yeah, right, like below that bramble. The problem there is that, of course, getting that bramble is a little bit too easy, I think. Also, I do like these like extra decorations that were added to the lava tile set, like these little like what would you call them? I guess just like stones in the ground, which were taken from like the jungle tile set, which I suppose, coming to think of it, is also appropriate, because, you know, that's taken from the jungle tile set, just like the brambles are taken from the jungle theme. That's kind of cool. Pretty simple stock on there as well. I don't think this level features any like sub zones. It's just all one big zone, which is something Nintendo also does occasionally, so it's not terrible or anything. But I do feel like maybe like some more creative ideas could have been thought up for the bonus rooms that could have spruced up the whole level a little bit, I think. Oh, I kind of messed that up. I think there's a laser thing here. Yeah, that's not bad, I think, because you can see how like the pipe goes into the walls. That kind of like, you know, indicates that. That's pretty cool, I think. And I think this is already the end of the level, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, that was very short. But like I said, it's not terribly designed or anything. I just think it's kind of a little bit maybe dull, a little bit like not that interesting, or I don't know. I was hoping for more crazy submissions with the theme being out of place. So yeah, but still overall a very like decently designed level. Alright, and up next is the secret level, which is just called Frozen Volcano, which is made by this person whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce. I think it's just letters. I don't think it's like a canon pronunciation for that. Yeah, let's play this level. So this one, I think, is... Am I right in saying that the game is currently crashing? That's cool. Okay. Okay, so it took like half an hour for me to figure this out, but I finally figured out why it crashed. So without further ado, let's get into this level. Okay, so... Oh, thank you for interrupting me there, random cheering. This level, yeah, was made by a person I'm not familiar with. I think they're active on Evo, like they've only been active since after I left the server. But this mostly uses these like icy volcano assets, which I believe are from Volcanic 1, maybe, or something like that. I don't know, they're from some old random mod. It also has this like ice water thing, which I think also was done by Small Super Mario Universe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really understand it, honestly. But yeah, this is generally just like ice volcano stuff, and I already died. I'm great at this game. Yeah, so as I was saying, this has like the ice volcano theme, which I suppose is the point of like the whole juxtaposition idea in this level, that you have the icy volcano. So I feel like it's kind of a bit of a, I don't know, lazy concept, because it's basically just freeze flame but without the lava. Also, these things, I mean, they're like, I guess they're like recolored sprite images of the magmas, or I don't know, but they're also like, look at this collision. I don't know what this is. Yeah, in general, I probably won't surprise you guys to learn that this might be one of the levels that I rated quite low in my original assessment, and also one of the levels that I think also ended up being quite like ranked quite low. But yeah, I mean, there's still some stuff in here that's kind of neat if I can find it. Maybe, I don't know. There's so much going on. There's a weird slope. That's a weird slope. That's not how you're supposed to do slopes, or at least not usually. I was interesting how it's mirrored though. That's kind of funny. I think there's also like a star coin. Whenever Gene played this level, I actually thought there was star coins missing, because I just didn't encounter them, and I figured, you know, maybe I just missed them. Also, that's a huge blind jump where you have no idea whether you've made it or not, and you just can't see what's going on. But yeah, I think I only got the first star coin in my original playthrough, and that might also be the case for this one. I don't know. We also have these, what do you call them again? Bitty buds, which are a custom code element. I don't know if they're supposed to look like that, or if that's just like a Steamy bug, or if that's like recolor done for this level. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I think these were coded by Swift Shine. That's kind of cool. And oh hey, there's a pipe, right? I don't think I actually found that pipe in my previous playthrough. So hey, maybe this bonus room is so good that it will make me reassess the level altogether, and it would have ended up actually being higher than it did. I don't know how to get that. Oh, P-switch, okay. Oh, okay, that might jump in input. Alright, let's not mess this up for some reason. So what am I supposed to... I guess I'm like a wall jump? How do I get up there? What? Hello? Okay, well, I think that was it. Yeah, that P-switch is not respawn. Okay. Well, that was a cool bonus room. I really enjoyed that. Oh, right. Yeah, this is... Okay. That would be the last time we're seeing weird tiling errors in the levels, if I recall correctly. Oh, look, there's a star coin down there. I also missed that one on my first playthrough. There we go. I guess that one isn't that terrible, but it's not like completely like impossible to find in hindsight, though I still don't like it. Look at all these slopes. Yeah, there's not much for me to say honestly about this level, like analysis wise. It's just a bunch of straight slopes and weird mechanics all thrown together. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, on to the tower, which let's see which level that is. That is Magma Chroma Castle, made by Gimsy. And if you don't know who Gimsy is, he's the main level designer of Super Mario Bros. Next, which is a major New Super Mario 2 mod that's being made. And this is a level that I think people were kind of mixed on in general. At least, like, I think there were quite mixed reactions between the different judges on this one. And personally, I thought it was like kind of cool, had some cool ideas and stuff, but there was also a lot of like problems or just like random things I didn't really like about it. And also just as a whole, I don't really think it came together amazingly well, though I think I got what it was going for. Also, you can see some void in the top left corner there. Like you can see like the lava effect kind of like weirdly wobbling with that black background. I think that's the background kind of cutting off. But I can't really blame them for that because I mean it's just a limitation of the background, I suppose. But yeah, this level uses a lot of different mechanics, and they're all kind of mechanics you don't really, or most of them are mechanics you wouldn't really expect to see in a castle setting, or at least I think that's kind of the point of the level. I think that's where the juxtaposition comes in. The problem with that, I think, is that these like color blocks like are already originally used in a tower level, which is basically a castle level. So like I feel like the juxtaposition doesn't really work in that sense. I suppose there's like mice running around, and that's a little bit, or I guess scaredy rats running around, and that's a little bit juxtaposition-y, but even that's like just kind of random more than like really playing with a specific like theme mashup or anything like that, I think. And then I suppose the most major juxtaposition or out of place element in the level are these colored blocks, which also match the moving color blocks. But I think those are also just kind of, I mean, they're there, they look a little bit weird in my opinion. Like I don't really think that whole theme thing works either. Yeah, just as a whole, like I think there's some cool ideas, especially with like later on in the level with some like cool auto-scroller stuff. But I don't know, it's just also a lot of elements I don't really think come together all that nicely. Of course, there's also these Bowser amps, which are pretty cool. I think I also used those in Cloud 2, and yeah, you can do a lot of cool stuff with them, as is also done in this level. I'm not really sure what the point of it, of the like the mandatory layer 0 here is. Like, it doesn't really do anything, and it like I don't know. I do like having to wall jump with the Bowser ramps though, like that. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've seen that done before. In general, Bowser ramps are a pretty underused mechanic in mods. I don't think I've seen them used much outside of my own mod. That's kind of funny. Same for the color blocks, I suppose. Those are also, yeah, and Scatty Rats. Yeah, I suppose this level as a whole kind of tries to show some love to some underappreciated mechanics. So that's nice. And this is kind of a cool setup here with these Bowser ramps crisscrossing throughout the screen. And I suppose I'm supposed to wait. Oh yeah, that's one up. Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess I'm supposed to go down here. Something pretty admirable about the whole level is that the castle tiling, for the most part, I believe is completely correct. There's probably a few mistakes here and there, but for the most part, it's quite hard to get that right, and I think this level manages it, so that's pretty neat. And yeah, here's that auto-scroller section I mentioned earlier, and now we still also have stretch blocks, because I guess the level didn't have enough mechanics already. Yeah. But yeah, it's really cool having this like rising lava wave setup, which is not even something that I think I was aware could be done before I saw this level. I think it's also done in a later level in the level contest as well, so maybe it's just like a discovery that was made in the community that I wasn't aware of. I don't know. But it's a pretty cool setup. I don't really know what the point of the whole lava wave setup is though. Like, it doesn't really contribute anything that a normal rising lava wouldn't have done, I don't think, but it's still cool, I suppose. Okay, so far we're managing it. There's also all these like off-screen glow things you can see. I think that's because there's like Bowser amps to the side. I don't know if those are there for like a functional purpose or if those are there just for like the aesthetic of having that glow there. I have some off-screen Bowser amps in my Bowser amp level, so and like that was just for the function of them. So maybe that's also the case here. Also, I just barely didn't die there. That's cool. Can I be able to getting this star coin? Sure. If I don't die, well, damn it. Alright, seems like we're... Oh, I was gonna say that. Seems like we're doing better this time, but then I got hit, but it's fine. Oh, these Sketty Rats are very annoyingly aligned at the moment. Okay. Oh god, well... This is a cool setup as well with this, like, electric stuff going to the side like that. Oh my lord, I'm not dead. Okay, I think these brick blocks are pointless, and I don't like that. I don't like brick or question blocks that are just there for decoration or to distract the player. I tend to be a fan of things serving a purpose, unless the other one has something in it, I don't know. Alright. Hello, Luigi. Yeah, and as a whole, I think this ending is a little bit random with also like the snow stuff and Yeah, I don't know. As a whole, I think like the level has some cool ideas, some cool mechanical combinations I haven't seen before. But there's also a lot of weird things, like also like how the P switch like has like coins after it, so like this just weird like brick coin arcs that appear, and just other random little tidbits I don't really like as much. But I still think that overall that level did end up ranking pretty high. I think actually was it in the top 3? I think it might have been. But regardless, let's move on to the third level. That's actually like the 5th level, I suppose. Under Construction, which was made by JH Master. So I'm pretty sure this level had a lot of like production difficulties, you could say. I'm pretty sure it was very much like rushed at a certain point. And I feel like you can kind of feel that because I think there's a pretty cool idea in here somewhere, but the execution is very questionable. So I think the idea of the level is that like the level is unfinished, I guess, which is appropriate or something. So like you have to go under where the level like is, and then I guess go like see how the level is being made or something, and like you can see how there's like support beams holding up the floating stuff, and I think the timing errors are on purpose. Therefore, I don't know why there's an invisible icon. Okay, whatever. But regardless of that whole idea, and even that is kind of a hard pill to swallow, honestly. I think it's a cool idea, but I don't know. Regardless of that, I think just like the level as a whole just doesn't really have much going for it in terms of like mechanics or anything. And like, you know, you move on here and then it's just like this kind of weird scaffolding mountain level, and I don't really know what that has to do with the rest of the level. Maybe there's like lore behind the whole thing that can be explained to me, but as a whole, I'm not really sure what's going on. Also, yeah, once again, Bowser ramps in this level as well. I suppose it's a popular mechanic for how little use it is. And yeah, I don't know. Like I said, as a whole, I just don't really think this level comes together all that nicely. I think, like, where's the rest of the green coins? I got those green coins, right? Didn't I? I think I did. That's weird. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I didn't quite get one of them and it timed out, or I don't really know. What was I saying? So yeah, I think as a whole, like the level just kind of has this one idea at the beginning, and I feel like a lot more could have been done with that as opposed to just switching to whatever this is, or maybe this is still a part of the same idea, and also this is a blind jump. Maybe this is still a part of the same idea, and I just don't understand it. I guess that B-switch is mandatory, but also you have to get the star coin, and also there's blue coins continuing, even though the star coin is over there. It's weird. Another thing about this level that's very questionable is how, like, you know, the solidity of these platforms is just very, like, weird. Sometimes they're semi-solid, sometimes they're solid. Like, I'm pretty sure here they're solid, right? Yeah. And then, like, sometimes they're not solid at all, and it's just, like, I don't get it, really. But that's the end of the level already. Also, I don't know why the gold ball is painted. Let's just move on. Alright, so this next level, Volcanic Seashores, was made by TechMuse. And just in case I forgot to mention it, both JS Master and TechMuse are also friends of mine. Though I should also mention that all of the okay, good job me. Anyways, I should also mention that all of the levels were submitted anonymously. So I had no idea who made which level. I mean, I kind of had some ideas because I like seen like, you know, like some of the tropes of some of the people's like levels I feel like kind of fit with the people that made them. But in general, as a whole, like the rule is kind of that we didn't know who made which level, and so like, we couldn't have biases affecting our judgment. But yeah, this level was made by TechMuse, and I think the thing about this though is that it starts off kind of, I don't know, I don't really like the start of it honestly, but as it goes on, I actually really like a lot of the ideas in the level. So of course it has this whole lava beach theme going on, and first of all, I think that's great. I think it's actually probably the best usage of the out of place theme out of any of the levels, because it's a theme I haven't seen before, but it actually works pretty well, I think. And also, like, the whole level kind of revolves around combining the mechanics of the different themes together. Whereas, like, other levels are just kind of I don't really think they do too much with the juxtaposition theme, apart from, like, either an aesthetic or, like, throwing one random mechanic in there. I think this level actually goes, like, the whole way and has, like the whole conceit of the level is mixing the mechanics of the two different themes. I think that's pretty cool. However, I do think, like, at the beginning here at least, like, there's just too many different mechanics just kind of doing whatever, and just kind of, it's just kind of all over the place. Like, you have urchins, you have the water spouts, you have hucket crabs, you have pudaboos, you have other mechanics I'm probably forgetting about, and they're all just kind of blended together with no real cohesion, I think. Also, here there's water bubbles and like just other mechanics all over the place. There's fire pillars. And I think like maybe these mechanics should have been introduced a little bit more gradually, and just in general, yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of the first zone, but then as it moves on the level, I think gets a lot better. Especially going into the auto-scroller at the end, which I guess we'll see sooner than later. I also really like the background and the tile set, which have been appropriately made more lava-y. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, can I get that? There we go. It's pretty lazy star coin. I should mention that, of course, the quality of the star coin design, or in general the secrets, also contribute to the level's rating. And like that star coin there wasn't that great, but I think the other two star coins in the level are pretty cool. I like this thing here where like the fact that the lava is going to start moving up and down is indicated with the signs. I think that's pretty understandable. That's nice. Can I oh I kind of thought I could make that with some clever timing. One thing that you are just kind of gonna have to like deal with when it comes to playing. Can I get this timing? One thing you're kind of just gonna have to deal with this level is how the water particles and lava and stuff doesn't really look too pretty when it's interacting, and sometimes it looks a little bit jank. But I think that's something that can be forgiven considering how cool some of the ideas there are. Like, for example, how often do you have to avoid lava while swimming in a water bubble? You know, I think it's just pretty neat overall. And then this section here especially, I think, was really, like, I think it's really cool, honestly. Once again, using the rising and lowering lava waves thing, which I wasn't aware that could be done until this level contest. But also just, like, combining all of the mechanics, like having these urchins rise up into the water bubble, and that's, like, timed kind of perfectly as well. That's just, it's really cool, and I've never seen a section like this before. Like, I mean, I have seen sections like this before where you have to, like, ride the water bubble, because there's one like that in Clay too. But, like, just in general, with the urchins and stuff, it's really cool. And also up here is this bonus room, which I believe is pretty difficult, if I recall. Oh, no, wait. No, don't leave me. Okay, can I still get this? I think so. Alright. Yeah, I like the little, like, Pudaboo, pixel art. That's pretty cool. And also, how do I get... Oh, okay. I guess we just have to get 3 of these. This is a custom code element, by the way, if that wasn't obvious. One of the few custom code elements throughout the mod. But it's pretty well implemented, I'd say. Maybe not the best bonus room ever, because I don't really think it, like, utilizes all the mechanics in that interesting of a way. It only uses the water bubbles, really. And I feel like that might have been more appropriate for a bonus room later in the level, but still a pretty neat bonus room. Of course, I always like the little pixel art thing that Nintendo does rarely, but, you know, when they do it, it's pretty cool. I think that's already the end of the level. Yeah, alright. Yeah, overall, like I said, I've kind of mixed feelings about the level because I think it kind of has a little bit of a messy start, and in general, it's just like has some jankiness to it. But I do think it has some really cool ideas in it as well. So it's kind of similar to the to Gimsy's level in that way, I think. Alright, and up next is Forest Factory, which is made by Miguel, another friend of mine. And yeah, this is a pretty neat level as well. I think this one ended up being 3rd or 2nd. So that's a pretty good job by Miguel, considering I think this is the first level he's ever made, maybe, or one of the first, I think. He's not much of a level designer, he's more of a tile set or even 3D modeling person nowadays. And yeah, I remember him talking to us about how much he was working on the level and stuff, and I think it was kind of rushed towards the end as well, kind of like JH's level maybe, but I don't think you can see it as much in some ways, though in other ways, for example, this massive tiling error here, it is quite apparent maybe. That's kind of funny. And this is not even the last tiling error in the level that I found, so oh well. This next section here, where you have to like avoid getting pushed up by the platform to get the star coin, I don't know whether that was like inspired by a section that was showcased from Super Mario Bros. Next, or if that's if that's a coincidence, or I don't know, because that was also a section in a like factory desert, not desert, factory forest kind of setting. I don't know if that's like just a huge coincidence, or if that's like direct inspiration, because I think the sections are almost identical in some way. So yeah, that's a little bit weird. But in general, this level uses some cool like mechanic stuff. I don't know if I like think the forest factory thing is that much of a juxtaposition. It's mostly just like aesthetic, because these could have just as well been other types of moving blocks there. But there is some like cool stuff here and there. Like for example, this star coin setup here, where you have to you have to rush to get the star coin before it gets like locked by those crates there. Yeah, there we go. yes, like the way this is set up here is really cool, where it like blocks your way, so you can't go to the left, and also it blocks the star coin. I don't think I've seen anything like that, at least in that specific type of setup before. That's really cool, I think. But then if I recall correctly, I think the second half of the level maybe isn't quite as impressive in some ways. And as a whole, it is quite a, like, vanilla level, maybe, like, a little bit simple, kind of like maybe Baron's level, where I don't think there's any bonus rooms or any, like, really complex setups apart from that one thing there. But still, I think, like, as far as vanilla levels go, it's pretty good. Giving the player an econ suit, I think, is a little bit of a mistake. Maybe I think it would have been better if the player had been given a nice flower, because that way they could have still had some effect on the level by killing the piranha plants, but it wouldn't have been able, like, they wouldn't have been able to cheese the stalker like that there. But yeah, whatever. Overall, I think a pretty good, just kind of standard vanilla level that maybe doesn't use the juxtaposition theme in that interesting of a way, but also doesn't really make that many mistakes apart from that one tiling error at least. But yeah, still pretty good. Alright, and now on to the final level of the pack, which is Poisonous Skewer Castle, made by Hoos. And he's also a friend of mine. And Hoos actually won the, like, New Super Mario's Wii level design contest that was held a couple, like, maybe a year ago or a couple of months ago, by making a Spine Coaster level. And Spine Coaster levels are kind of a little bit of a meme in the community, because, like, I think a lot of, like, people outside of the community think they're, like, the pinnacle of level design or something. So I think Koos is kind of like putting a little bit of a prank by like he keeps submitting these Spine Coaster levels. I mean, this one isn't as focused on the Spine Coaster element as his other Nisra's Wii level. This one's more also focused on skewers. And this first bonus room here, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit too slow and a little bit too difficult for it being the first star coin. I think it would have been better if this had maybe been towards the end. But then again, I suppose you could say that maybe like it would have kind of like zapped the whole level of its momentum if this was towards the end. But I think like regardless, it's just a little bit slow and boring. And it's also like I've definitely seen a lot of sections like this before in the past. So I feel like it might just be a little bit too boring or vanilla. I don't know. It's still not like a bad section or anything. Just I don't know if it really fits here. But theming-wise, this level is pretty cool with the whole poison overworld aesthetic. I think that's pretty neat. However, I do also think that maybe the juxtaposition element doesn't really play into the mechanics all that much. Like, apart from the whole overworld tile set being like implemented into the level, like mechanically, there's nothing here that wouldn't have been able to be like done in a normal console level. So I think it would have been cooler if like the level had somehow used a like overworld mechanic in its like setups as well. But then again, I suppose it really isn't such a thing as an overworld mechanic. I don't know, I think just like if you want to get like full points on the juxtaposition theme, I would have like tried to also use a mechanic from the juxtaposing theme as opposed to just using it aesthetically. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention it back when we did it there, but yeah, wall jumping on that Spine Coaster there is really cool. I've always wanted to see someone try to get that working in motion, like wall jumping on the Spine Coaster while it's moving. But even just the static setup there is still pretty cool. Oh, I didn't realize that one would go out that far. I do also wonder why there's palm trees. I mean, you don't really see those in castles or overworld levels, usually. So I suppose it's like a tropical overworld poison castle. It's like a whole mixture of themes. I suppose it's kind of like what's it called, like that one area in Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah, I think my main gripe with this level is just kind of how like these sections here of the spike pillars are like nothing special at all. Like they're just kind of, you know, like any other spike pillar level, and I'm not even that big of a fan of spike pillars as a mechanic because they usually just involve a lot of waiting and just kind of like frustration, I think. So yeah, I don't know, but I think the Spine Coaster sections are much more exciting. Yeah, like this here where you have to like you know, wait for the big spike pillar to like get out of the way so you can continue moving. It's like such a cliche, I think, you know. I've seen it in so many other like vanilla levels and mods as well, where I think like maybe something more unique, maybe also involving the Spine Coaster would have been better. Wait, you should probably actually check for a power up. I keep dying in all these levels, man. And this is a cool setup here with the 3 Spine Coasters. I think I have probably seen this done before. I feel like I have. Actually, I think New Super Mario Bros. U does it, doesn't it? Or Luigi U, maybe? Oh, there I go, dying again. Hello, tiling error up there. That's kind of funny. But yeah, in general, it's kind of annoying how, like, if I keep dying to this section here, I keep having to replay that section over there with the, you know, the waiting for the skewer, which is just kind of annoying because it's just kind of long and boring, where this section is so exciting but also pretty difficult. So I think that's kind of a weird juxtaposition, I suppose you could say, haha. Though not really the right kind of juxtaposition, I think. Let's do this without getting the stock on this time, because I don't care. Alright, there we go. But yeah, as a whole, I think that level is pretty cool. It just kind of feels a little bit disjointed in the way it just doesn't really mix its mechanics too well, I think. Like, there's never even any moving skewers that go together with the, spine coasters. They're always, like, separate, basically, and the skewers just serve as almost decorational elements in the spine coaster sections. But regardless, I still think that's a pretty good level, and that's still definitely one of the better ones, I think. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to do it for this playthrough of this like level design contest. So I hope you enjoyed, and if you want, you can go check out these levels yourself. I'll put a download link for them in the description. But yeah, in general, it's been a while since I've uploaded a video, hasn't it? Jesus. I'm planning on uploading more stuff in the following few weeks. I've just been busy with other random stuff that I hope I can share with you guys at some point, maybe. I don't know, I have to see. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and bye-bye.